This week has been truly amazing. It is a phenomenal kickoff to the Filecoin network. We had the goal when we first started thinking about this week. We had the goal of creating something similar to DEF CON 1. I think DEF CON 1 was such an amazing, wonderful conference that kicked off a phenomenal community. And I have amazing fond memories of all of the relationships and people I met at DEF CON 1 that seeded just a tremendous ecosystem for Ethereum and for many organizations that have gone on to do great work. So we wanted to kind of have something inspired by that and inspired by many other amazing events that we've seen over the years, things like IPFS Camp and so on. And I think we did a tremendous version of it in a totally distributed and decentralized way. We were able to bring in so many more people to watch and participate in these events, to kind of come in and go. There were all kinds of hallway tracks as well, and conversations happening all around this conference. So it was truly a phenomenal experience. I want to kind of walk you through one of the cool things about reflecting on this is that we can, all of the benefit of having a totally distributed conference is that all of the material is digital, and so it's self-archiving in a really, really nice way. So you can go back and see the whole schedule and see all of the different events that that happened. You can go to the Filecoin channel and see all of the amazing content that has been produced over the last week. So I'll use the actual material here to reflect on the things that we heard about. So we first heard about, we got an overview of the Filecoin ecosystem with Colin, and this was like an amazing talk where we got to see how the network is growing. We got to hear about all the different activity from various different organizations. We got to see glimpses of applications. We got to see the efforts to build implementations and the efforts to support the growth of new applications, from hackathons to accelerators and more. From there, we got to hear about kind of the decentralized cloud from Olaf, and we got to hear about the value of the network and how Filecoin can be a really useful and valuable resource for a lot of people. Then we heard about the introduction to the Filecoin Foundation from Marta. You've just gotten the benefit of meeting the folks involved with the foundation, but the announcement kicked off at the beginning of the week. In day two, we focused entirely on mining, and we talked about kind of the proofs and the improvements of the proofs that are coming. We got to hear from several teams working on refining and improving proofs of replication and proofs of storage, and proofs of spacetime. We got to hear from many different miners, both small and big. We got to hear a lot of advice for mining for smaller groups and medium-sized folks and so on. And we got to hear from, we got a whole spotlight track where we heard from a number of larger miners. And I would expect these kinds of spotlights to grow over time and seeing many more companies that are up to mining Filecoin. We got to a sense of kind of a deep dive into mining Filecoin. We got to go through all of the hardware work that miners and the team have been doing to make it possible to go and actually add capacity to the network and store data on the network. A lot of really amazing advice embedded in all of these talks about how to mine well, how to optimize and so on. We also heard a great talk from CX about the Filecoin storage economy and how it works and how it's built and what it values in the long term and how to model it and so on. We got to hear from all of the Filecoin protocol implementations. That was phenomenal to hear where those implementations are and where they're headed. And those are going to be a really critical component of making sure that the Filecoin network is robust, having these additional implementations joining the network to make sure that vulnerabilities don't take down the whole network. We got to hear from folks on how they won the space race. That was a really great great session with a bunch of the winners from Space Race, and we got to hear about all of their thoughts and experiences through the program and how they did. Then we started looking ahead, and we started looking at kind of beyond the storage market. We started looking at the retrieval market. We heard from a number of teams working on the retrieval market side of things. A lot of like really great ideas, and we can see glimpses of the future and where it's headed. This is a phenomenal talk if you want to get a jump start in retrieval mining, or get to understand where that's headed, or you want to build a tool or protocol or system around it. This is a great jumping off point for you. We got to listen about the security and bug bounty program. This is a really critical component of networks like Filecoin, is to make sure that they are secure and they stay secure as upgrades and new improvements come. So security is paramount for the whole network. It's everybody's responsibility, and the bug bounty program that we heard about is a piece of it. And we got to hear about kind of like where Filecoin mining might head from Y and kind of the Lotus folks. Then kind of after that day, we took a tour through building and all of the emerging developer ecosystem. So we had an introduction for developers that kind of guided us through how to think about Filecoin from a perspective of a developer building on a storage network. We got to think about a bunch of really valuable use cases. We got to think about all of the tools that are all the developer tooling out there for us to use to build our applications. We got previews of things like Slate, amazing application. We got to hear about how Filecoin-backed pinning services and IPFS are going to operate, and we got to hear about PowerGate, one of the kind of like star developer tools out there for Filecoin developers. Then we got to hear about kind of emerging reputation systems for folks in the network. So being able to understand metrics for the data for miners and so on, so that developers that use and rely on various miners can do so and can choose better who they're going to work with. We got to hear about the emerging new stack from a number of folks involved in it. It's a really great panel talking about various different corners of the ecosystem and where it's might be headed, what tools are out there, what people can do now, and how it's gonna, what kind of applications we'll see in the future. And we got a sense of the various different kind of systems and tools around this API and supporting developers, things like Infura and the new Filecoin API that is announced and deployed, so all the developers out there can start building applications with Infura today. We got this amazing tour of Slate. Slate is really this phenomenally beautiful application. It really is one of the first times that I've seen something in the Web3 space that actually can contend and beat the Web 2 consumer experiences. And so really check it out if you haven't really started using it and so on. And really check out this talk if you want to build an application of this level of quality and polish, and you can help Web3 cross the chasm this way. We got to then hear about the work of building a bunch of dev tools on Filecoin, how that's going. We got to hear about Pygate. We got to hear about Fleek and a number of others. And so this is a really great experience for all the developers out there that are starting to explore the ecosystem and start running into challenges and so on. I refer back to this talk to see how they beat it. We also saw developer tools like the Space Even demoed here, and we got a talk about where that's headed, how people can build applications with it, and how to structure your own tools and what might be possible to build now that wasn't possible before, right? So one of the key things that is happening now is that now that the Filecoin launch is here, and now that its capacity is here, now that these developer tools are here, you can build Web3 applications with full consumer experiences, full web and native experiences that are powered by Web3 primitives, something that wasn't easy before. And then we also got a chance to hear about Filecoin for DeFi, which is a really phenomenal whole new kind of frontier for both cloud storage and DeFi. So one of the amazing facts about one of the amazing things about blockchains is how easily and smoothly you can connect computing resources and computing systems and applications to different kinds of smart contracts and financial instruments. And so the emergence of the ability to commoditize various different kinds of computational resources and application systems is really kind of a portal to a new world. And so this is this is a glimpse into the future of what will be what will potentially be a pretty large thing in the years ahead. We also got a chance to hear from a number of the folks developing tools for exploring the chain. So we got a chance to hear from Phil Fox, one of the main chain explorers. We got a chance to hear from Phil Scan and Phil Scout and Phil Plorer. All of these chain explorers talked to us about how they've been, how their tools work today, what are the features they're going to be building, where they're going to take their applications, what is next. They talked about their APIs and how to use them. And they talked about all kinds of different stats that they're collecting now and are likely to bring to us in the future. We also got a chance to hear all about the developer tools around wallets. And so, one of the really key components of being able to deal with tokens is being able to handle the actual tokens themselves in a secure and way with really high quality UX. So we got glimpses of how to do that with Lotus and how to even plug in Lotus with a ledger, how to do that without a full node and do it kind of with a light node. We got a sense of how to do it with a Glyph wallet. We got a full demo of the experience and flow there. And we also got a chance to see the emerging multi-sig UI. That's really cool. We also got a chance to hear from the Sondex folks that are building the Filecoin signer tools, which are the critical component that everybody's using for signing transactions and so on. And we heard from MetaMask, and we heard about the upcoming Filecoin Snap that is going to be plugged in as part of MetaMask, and that's going to be super useful for the broader adoption. Then in the store day, so these videos are still. By the way, thank you so much for the video production crew. That right away already we have these easily shareable videos that people can go and watch individually and share out with other folks. Highly encourage you to go and find a talk that you really like and enjoyed, and go share it out to folks. In the store day, so now kind of past miners, past developers, we started thinking about the data that we want to store. We had a chat with Brewster, and that was really phenomenal to talk to him about the archive and kind of archiving in general and kind of where that's headed. We got a chance to talk about we saw kind of like pinning services and where they are now and where they're headed and how they're thinking about Filecoin and how they're going to become kind of a Filecoin pinning service and so on, and the kinds of data that people tend to add to pinning services. We heard about 5MB, a developer tool for distributing a lot of assets, developer assets and so on with Filecoin, and this is a really awesome and promising direction for things. One of my favorites in the whole conference was being able to see kind of a glimpse into the future of video with Liftoff and the really awesome demo of really just kind of like a very, very simple tool, and like really simplicity is the key here, and the simplicity just hides an enormous amount of power and complexity behind the scenes to make this work. Just drag and dropping a video and then have it processed, transcoded by a cloud of decentralized peer-to-peer first transcoders, and then have all of the assets produced by that, kind of be backed up by Filecoin and then served and streamed back to the browser. This is, kind of end-to-end the whole experience of video distribution powered by Web3. And so in this simple demo, it's just embedded so much of what's to come. So it's a really, really powerful video. We got to hear about building data structures in IPLD and where that is headed, and we got to hear about how the data structures within Filecoin and within applications around Filecoin work. We got to hear about projects storing really critical, valuable data, especially civic, really important civic data on Filecoin. we got to hear, we got a tour for about how to actually store data and how that entire flow works, like how files get broken up and split into pieces and come into get out to the network and get stored in sectors and so on. And we got a flow of the whole end-to-end experience. We also got a chance to hear about the Filecoin Plus program, previously called Verified Clients, and kind of the motivations there, what's happening with that program, when it's coming, and so on. And kind of really an invitation for people to participate in the governance and become notaries and so on. And then we ended that day with a tremendously powerful talk from Jonathan Doden about the kind of really the importance of verifiability in data, and the importance of making sure that we not only collect and store some of these incredibly tremendously valuable and important cultural information and testimonials, but also so that we can build it into their tooling and our hardware, so that as we produce digital information, as we produce testimonial evidence of what's happening, we can be sure that it's not fake, and we can be sure that it's captured correctly, and we can attest to the veracity of what's happening. This is an incredibly important line of work that is only going to be more important as time goes on. Really, the work that is, I think everybody working on Filecoin is really proud of use cases that really demonstrate the value of networks like these, especially when we find something that other systems don't do. And this is one of the really powerful use cases that really resonated with a lot of our community. Great. So almost done with this recap. The last day today, we're talking about the future. We got a panel kicked off with a panel talking about the future of Filecoin and where it's headed. We got to hear from a lot of folks about where kind of like this additional wave of Web3 applications is forming, where how the different builders and application builders and so on are getting connected, and what they're building and where they're headed and how they're getting supported. We heard about Launchpad. We heard about Apollo. We heard about a number of programs that are going on right now. And then we also heard from Wendy and Jonathan and Nathan about the critical importance of really guarding our shared history and making sure that we store and archive and disseminate and preserve for the future the critical historical artifacts that we produce as we exist. So this is again a phenomenal discussion on why preservation of information matters, what you can do about it, how you can support, how you can be involved in these systems, and where that's headed, and kind of what's at stake when we don't do this right. Then from there, we jumped into talking about how these networks are interacting with governments and larger scale systems. We got a phenomenal panel talking about how we're getting how the kind of like challenges ahead for networks like ours, and the how to exist in a world where all kinds of interests and different groups will want to kind of ban these platforms for their own use and so on. And we got to hear about the kind of the forefront and the front lines of policy and crypto from Kristen, Georgia, and Ian, who are kind of really at the forefront of this entire effort and endeavor. And then kind of finally, we got to hear about, we got to meet the Filecoin Foundation. So we kind of started and ended the whole week with the Filecoin Foundation, a really phenomenal group of people who are going to be working for the whole network to help steer and guide the community, to help see ahead and identify challenges and help spread the word and help support the development and help support the future adoption of the whole network. And so I'm incredibly excited and thankful to this group of folks for joining us and helping us steer this community. this is really a phenomenal environment, and I really look forward to what you make of it, what you individually, how you push our community to go in various important directions. And great, so I will now that is my recap. So hopefully Colin will tell me that I passed his test. And I know that was a lot, but there was a lot in this conference. There's probably stuff I missed if I skipped over an important talk or session. I'm sorry, kind of going through a lot. But the really key thing here that I wanted to establish with that recap is just how broad and ambitious the entire community is, how much is getting developed in a bunch of different directions, how many other organizations and other people are involved, and to really kind of give you this talk to be able to kind of give people a glimpse of kind of what happened here. So I'm sure that a lot of people didn't catch every talk. I'm sure there will be people coming back to see the material of this talk of this whole conference in the future, that will kind of appreciate a little tour of actually kind of what happened and what were the talks. And so kind of the goal of this recap is to give you a capstone and kind of let you reflect on this whole amazing week, but also for you to be able to share this with other people to kind of guide them through the whole amazing week. The next thing I want to do is really thank everybody involved in producing this phenomenal week. It is truly a gargantuan amount of effort to produce a conference like this. So I really want to thank all of the people involved with really bringing all of these perspectives to you. So starting with the speakers who gave their time and their perspective and knowledge and shared their ideas, and spent a large amount of time preparing and thinking about what to share with us. So really thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I want to really thank the organizing group who really moved heaven and earth to produce an amazing conference in record time. Like usually these kinds of conferences take many months to prepare. We had mere weeks here, and really what an amazing team working for the Filecoin network. We achieved an enormous amount of success with this phenomenal conference. Everything from organizing the actual talks to all of the different kind of hallway track endeavors, to all of the conversations, to actually producing all of the video and getting it online really quickly. So really thank you for this tremendous conference. I know that so many people are going to walk away from this week super energized and tremendously excited for the future. And it's all really thanks to you. So thank you so much for that contribution. And I want to thank all of the teams that have worked for many years on developing, building, testing, and running Filecoin. So there have been many teams involved now for 3+ years who have been contributing tremendously to the creation of this network, either directly or indirectly. So there's of course the teams that have been working on the tech directly and kind of building Filecoin and building implementations of Filecoin, building tools around Filecoin, building libraries, doing the research and the science required to produce the right proofs and the right protocols and the right systems. There's the whole set of teams running the systems and testing those systems and figuring out the UX and building products and building developer tools and all of that kind of enormous, gargantuan mountain of development work that has happened over the years. Really, thank you so much for that. And I also want to thank all the people that contributed indirectly. So Filecoin is open source. It builds on the shoulders of giants. There's so many other systems and tools and libraries that are contributing to what Filecoin is. That starting from IPFS and Liquidity, which are very close projects, but also Ethereum and Bitcoin and other blockchain networks that inspired a lot of the mechanisms and inspired a lot of the tooling, or directly shared a lot of the tooling. And also a lot of the actual programming environment and developer tooling things that we take for granted. So today we have this kind of a crisis in how open source gets developed, where we are able to build these amazing things in open source, but we're not able to fund them well. And really, I want to make sure that the Filecoin network properly thanks the all of the builders that have contributed to it over time, either directly and indirectly. There's an enormous amount of value that's been created by people indirectly, producing ideas and systems that are open source that we're able to build on. And so really thank you to all of the people out there whose work for decades, potentially centuries in some cases, has been instrumental in getting us here and building the things that we have today. And I'll plug that kind of in the future will be, the source code project was kind of in part kicked off with this kind of question of how might we properly contribute back to a lot of this community. So I look forward to finding ways of doing that, and I'll leave it at that. There's some cool plans in the works there. Thank you so much to all of the folks running the network and starting to build applications. It is really the future of Filecoin is in your hands, and this is kind of up to you to drive it in various different directions. We've done we've kind of steered a lot of the ship up to here, but from here on out, it is you that's running it, and you that's deciding what gets built, and you deciding where it goes. So thank you for all your work so far, and good luck ahead. I want to end by reminding everyone of the kind of like 3 challenges and 3 pieces of advice that I gave at the opening of the conference. So the 3 challenges were, number 1, bring deeply valuable data to the network. That is really the next stage. Find amazing, really valuable data sets and help bring them to the network. Contribute, store them, find ways of making them accessible, build tools around being able to visualize them. This is really a really key component of where we're headed. We have to amass large scale data now. Now that we have the capacity, we have to fill that capacity with really valuable, useful data that will be kind of the draw for applications. And there's all kinds of really valuable data sets that you can use, starting with kind of like photo and video libraries that are open access, or scientific data sets, or all of the machine learning data sets. Like, that's an entire amazing, rich area that can come online fairly quickly. Number 2, I challenge you to build a new application on Filecoin Tech. So there's a tremendous amount of powerful stuff that you can use now. You heard about it all week. There's a lot of amazing stuff that can be built now. So or take some of the existing app defense applications and bring them to the Filecoin network. There's an enormous amount of potential here, and it's all going to happen thanks to the applications. And so I really challenge you to build a new app. And probably the most important one is really a challenge you to make Filecoin yours. So this is get involved. Filecoin is open source, and it's an open service, which means that it is an open source project with an economy associated with it, with all kinds of important community structures and community policies and so on. And it's really up to you to get involved and to help shape Filecoin in various directions and help take it, help realize the vision of Filecoin. So this community and this network is not going to make it unless you step up and really make it yours, and you help realize that vision. So get involved in core development, get involved in community decisions, get involved in building tools and services, participate. And we, in a sense, when the US started, there was a big question as to whether or not it was, I believe it, it's a question as to whether or not it was going to be a republic, and Ben Franklin answered to a question that we had a republic if you can keep it. And so likewise here we have a network if you can keep it. And it really is up to you to decide what the future of it is, and to decide whether or not it's going to make it through the massive challenges ahead. So every single blockchain network, every single large-scale service will face tremendous challenges that at the time will feel so daunting and so impossible to surmount that many, many, many people will give up, that many people will see those as it being over. But it is through those hard challenges, through those forges, those crucibles, that the resilience of the network sets in, and that the long-term flourishing of the community actually shines. And so you can go back to think through all of the challenges that Ethereum went through. Think about all the challenges that other networks have gone through. Think of all the challenges that large-scale systems and services like the internet and the web have gone through. It is those challenges that really kind of shape and define their future, and they're all surmountable. And so I know that we'll make it, but and so in those moments, just remember to step up and really make Filecoin yours. And finally, just quick reminders on the advice: build something people want. At the end of the day, if people don't want something, it'll disappear. The market doesn't support things that are not providing a lot of value in the long term. And one part of this is just using the storage and so on, but another big part of this is the applications. So as you go and think about building applications, always think of the user and the consumer first, and build something people want. Think long term. Filecoin does not really reward short-term behavior. It rewards long-term behavior. It rewards storing data for the long term. It rewards a long-term community participation. It rewards long-term applications that actually will stand the test of time. And so really think and orient in the long term. Think about ways of you can think back to other networks like, again, Ethereum or Bitcoin, or other open source projects like many programming languages or Linux and so on. So many of those projects created a tremendous amount of value, but they did so over the years and decades. They did so over the long term. The short term is it's just not a, those flare-ups and so on are for different kinds of organizations and systems. These kind of open networks, participatory environments are about a long-term valuable system that will actually stand the test of time. And so again, think long-term and be resilient. I am sure that we will have an enormous amount of challenges ahead. There will be existential challenges, there will be smaller challenges, and we will be under constant, because of these networks are so public and these networks are so, there's so much at stake with them, there will be all kinds of groups trying to vie in one direction or another, trying to get their way in one direction or another, trying to manipulate the environment so that they win in some way. And so really encourage you to be resilient through all of that. Just think long term, think of the future, think of what's right, do the right thing, and really kind of persevere through whatever challenges may come.